Welcome to the PrepZone Show, sponsored by Bevill State. I'm your host, Johnathan Bentley, joined by my co-host, as usual, Zak McCullough is here. Zak, we only got a couple weeks left now. I say that it seems like I say that every week, but now we're really close to the end.
Yeah, now we're we passed Columbus Day. We're into October. It'll be Halloween before you know it. So the high school season, it's winding its way down.
It always ends around Halloween, always.
Right.
Unless you make the playoffs.
Yes, and we have some teams that might be we do have teams that will be making the playoffs, and we have some teams that might be going maybe to Thanksgiving time in the playoffs. We've got some really good teams.
That's the goal, always. So we'll start with last week's games. We had some stinkers on here, but one of the best games of the year, maybe, depending on who you root for.
Right.
Dora 33, Cordova 32.
And Dora, we thought they were dead in the water a few weeks ago. I mean, they were over. They had lost to Fultondale. We thought their playoff hopes were shot. Yep. Then last week, they beat Haleyville. I guess they turned a corner against Jasper. You know, they fought hard, competed. They beat Haleyville, and now they beat their biggest rival, Cordova. That throws Class 4A Region 5. That last playoff spot throws it into utter chaos.
Yeah, we both picked Cordova, and it was kind of a straight shot for Cordova. Here's it. You know, just went out, make the playoffs, and now it's kind of, like you said, it's chaos.
Tiebreakers.
So we got to find out in the next few weeks. But that series is now 50-50-2. Does it get any better?
That's pretty even, isn't it?
And it's separated by 4 points after 100 and something years. Yeah, so
4 points. Wow.
That's what a rivalry is supposed to be. All right, so disappointing for Jasper. Number 3, Muscle Shoals 34, Jasper 15.
Well, we at least in this game, Jasper wasn't just smashed. They fought hard, they competed, but eventually Muscle Shoals had too much for them. Jasper, they really hadn't played anybody elite all season, but considering who they were playing, I'm not too disappointed. You know, they made it close for a while, and Muscle Shoals really poured it on at the end. 34-15, though, and now Jasper will be playing Hartselle this week for probably the second spot in that region.
Yes, unless something crazy happens, and it doesn't happen in that region. So, yes, for second. But they're winning 15 to 13 at halftime, yeah. So, yeah, bad second half there. But it is Muscle Shoals, and I think they're better than usual, even for them. All right, a game I went to, Addison 61, Meek 22. Thought it'd be a little bit closer than
Addison, that. They mean business this year. The Addison Bulldogs are a really, really good football team. And Meek, they're a good football team. Yep. It's just they ran up against a juggernaut this week. And didn't go well for the Tigers, went really well for the Bulldogs.
It did. I will say this for Meek. They had their Caden Proctor, Aiden Benson, 4th and 1. Not only does he get the one, he goes like 40-something yards for a touchdown.
Oh, man,
it was incredible. That crowd went crazy. So they did have a memorable moment, at least for Meek, in that loss. But, man.
We need more high school teams putting offensive linemen in and getting them the football. I know a lot of offensive linemen who I know would got off their right arm for a chance to carry the football.
Yes, Benson's not going to get many carries, but he made the most of that one. That was awesome. All right, Winfield 32, Oakman 10.
Oakman, they kept it close for a little bit, losing by 3 touchdowns, which I think that's the largest margin of defeat they've had this year, which is not usual for a team that's 2-5, 7 games into the season. Winfield is just a really good football team, and Oakman fell short, and there's really not much else to say.
Yeah, Winfield's really good again. Speaking of a good team, you saw Fayette County win 67-16.
And
over Curry.
They could have made it closer. When you turn the ball over 6 times in a football game, it's not going to go well. Wow. They fought hard on defense for a while, but with all the turnovers, eventually the defense just got exhausted, and they could not keep up. And Fayette County, at that point, stomped on them. Although I will say, one memorable play for Curry, lining up for an extra point towards the very end of the game, just a minute or so left. Snap is mishandled, flips it back to the kicker, Heath Miller, who throws it into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. So that's the second time I've seen Heath Miller throw a pass on an attempted kick after the snap was mishandled.
Wow.
So they have a pretty good system there if an extra point goes awry.
Yeah, he can throw it. He could be quarterback. All right, so corner 56, Hayden 20 in a game that wasn't even that close. They had 47 points at halftime.
Wow, that's a big win for number 9 corner. Hayden has not won a game this season.
Bad year for Hayden.
Very dominant victory for the Jackets.
Yeah, got to have it. Just keep getting them. All right, this was a disappointing game. Lynn loses its first region game 42-34 at Marion County. It's hard to win at Ewan.
Oh, Ewan is a tough atmosphere, especially when they're good. There have been some seasons where Marion County was not good at all, and then it was easy to win there. But when they are good, It's hard. And Lynn dealing with some injuries, so they controlled their own destiny in the playoffs. Now you've got Hubbardsville this week, which is going to be tough, and then South Lamar, which is winnable, coming up after that.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a playoff team, and they still got it right in front of them, but that was a tough loss. It's just hard to play at a place like – kind of reminds me of Hamilton, like a 1A version of Hamilton is Marion County. And the last game on the list, Phil Campbell, 56, Carbon Hill, 12.
Yeah, been another long season for Carbon Hill. This not a very good week at all. Is Phil Campbell, hey, they usually pretty bad. They're most likely going to the playoffs this year.
They're a playoff team, yeah.
So good for the Bobcats, bad for the Bulldogs, though.
Yeah, I hate to lose on homecoming,
Yeah, rough.
All right, so our player of the week, we go to Dora this. I think it's the first time we've done it, Dora, this week.
I think you're right.
I don't know. Right. Foster might have got it before, but it's Jacoby Foster. If you want to.
I mean, his stats are fantastic. 121 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Had a 73-yard touchdown reception as well in the big win over Cordova. You added on the notes, Dora has now won 4 straight in the series.
Very disappointing for Cordova.
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime you lose like that on a missed extra point to your biggest rival. Ugh, that's a tough feeling.
I'd rather lose by a couple touchdowns.
I understand that.
Because they came back down the field after that. After Dora had took the lead and just couldn't do it. Evan Chanel, a big pickoff there to win the game. So honorable mention. How do you not mention a guy with 7 touchdowns and a half? So we'll mention Spencer Unruh, who is, teams have a scat back. He's like the opposite of that. Coach actually said that when he first came there, they wanted to put him at linebacker. And he was like, I'm a running back.
And he was right.
Yeah. And he
was right.
He's over, I think he's either close to or over 1,000 yards at this point, but 7 touchdowns, 6 rushing, and 1 on a return.
In one half.
In one half,
In one half. That's impressive. That's more than most players get in a period of 3 or 4 games. Yeah, that's right.
And we have nice coaches around here. Otherwise, you remember there was a 100-0 game this year.
There was.
And we could have had several of our teams win 100.
Williamson and Murphy. Yeah. I think Corner could have done it. I know Addison could have done it a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
Meek probably too in that region.
Right.
But we have a lot of sportsmanship in our area, which is good. I like sportsmanship.
All right, so we go to this week's games, a full slate as we're coming down the home stretch here. Some of these are big region games, starting with Hartselle, number 4 Hartselle 7-0 at 6-1 Jasper after that Muscle Shoals loss.
And Jasper, you just have to wonder: are they motivated and inspired coming off of that loss, or are they dejected and downfallen after the loss to Muscle Shoals? They're playing number 3 team in the state and then going on to play number 4. That's tough. But it's at home for Jasper, and something tells me Jasper is going to rebound well. So I'm picking the Vikings in a big upset.
Whoa, yeah. I saw online Hartselle was a 10-point favorite, and I don't think that's right. That's too much.
That's way too much.
Yeah, that's too much.
Our teams around here get disrespected by the odds makers.
But I am taking Hartselle after I said all that. It'll probably be really close. I don't know. Come down to a play or two. Hopefully, I'm wrong about that. I want Jasper at home in the playoffs.
And this revenge, I think, will be a factor for Jasper because if we remember correctly, Hartselle knocked Jasper out of the playoff hunt last year. Jasper had to win, lost by 13. So I think the Vikings return the favor, knock Hartselle down into having to go on the road. I think the Vikings are the number 2 seed in that region.
I hope you're right. But it's funny. I was talking earlier to somebody, and the bad thing about this region is the bottom is so bad.
Right.
You're never going to get help from them. They're going to lose every game. So you've got to beat these teams. There's no other way. All right, so a big game in 4A is Dora at Curry, both 2-6.
It's both of these teams fighting for that last playoff spot in 4A Region 5, and you have to think whoever loses this is pretty much eliminated from playoff contention. So somebody's hopes and dreams will come crashing down Friday night at Curry. I think these are 2 teams heading in opposite directions. Curry started the year 2-1. Now they're on a 5-game losing streak. Have not looked very good in that time period. Meanwhile, Dora's got a 2-game winning streak and have looked fantastic. For that reason, I'm picking the Bulldogs to win. Probably close early, and then Dora piles it on at the end.
Yeah, I'm going Dora as well. Had this game been in week 3 or 4,
yes,
I would have took Curry.
I would have
no doubt about it. But I think Dora, boy, it took them a while.
I
think that gauntlet of a schedule didn't help. The only easy team they had on the schedule was Fultondale. But since that Jasper game, they've kind of got it going in the right direction. It took them – at least they did it. Some teams never get it. So
yes, that's just a sign of good coaching, which Dora has in Chavis Williams. So
Finally come
fantastic.
together.
Fantastic.
So we're both going Dora on that one. Again, we kind of mentioned earlier, Lynn 4-4 at Hubbardville 7-0. Well, that's a tough spot.
Not good for Lynn, especially a little shorthanded heading into this matchup. So I think Hubbardville, who's having a historic season, Hubbardville, they're usually pretty good. This year they are even better. So I'm picking Hub to win.
Yeah, I am as well. Just Lynn, God, if it was at home, these 1A schools, if you play at home, it's just a big deal.
Right.
And everybody in Hubbardville is going to show up. I mean, they're ranked, they're undefeated, they're most likely the region champs. So yeah, great year for Hubbardville. I'm going with the Lions, probably a touchdown or so. All right, Fultondale 2-5 at Cordova 2-5, another 4A kind of playoff game.
Yeah, this one I wouldn't say that it's an elimination game because both teams still have a shot if they were to lose, but it certainly puts somebody in the driver's seat. If it was at Fultondale, I think I would probably go Bearcats, maybe. I don't know, because they beat Haleyville, but only by 5.
Close,
that's
close.
Not a good-looking win. So, well, maybe no matter where it was, I'd be picking Cordova. But down in the pit, especially, they'll be motivated after coming off of that loss.
Oh, God, yeah.
Cordova, I think, wins this one handily.
Yeah, Cordova probably wants to play right now.
Yes. Today.
Get back on the field after that disappointing loss. I'm going Cordova, too. Probably pretty big, at least a few touchdowns there. All right, so Oakman 2-5 at a uncharacteristically good Vinemont team, which is 6-2, 5-2.
Vinemont, I think they're undefeated in that region too, or maybe they've lost. I know they beat Gordo last week, which was a shock.
They might still have Winfield in front of them.
They might. That would be a pretty good game for the region. Right. But Vinemont is very good. Which last year they were okay, not bad. They made the playoffs. I think as a 3 seed. This year they're definitely much higher than a 3 seed. Oakman, nobody's going to blow them out, so they're going to keep it close, but I'm going with the Vinemont Eagles in this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you beat Gordo, you've done something in 3A. In that region, that hasn't happened probably. The only game they have that's close is usually Winfield, but for Vinemont to win that game was humongous for them.
Well, Oakman keeps it close against Gordo,
They always keep it close
reason, it's always
until the fourth quarter. Yep, every year. So uncharacteristically good, like Cold Springs.
Right, yes.
You got 2 Coleman County teams that are on the rise over there. All right, Carbon Hill 1-6, Midfield 2-5. Can Carbon Hill get win number 2?
This might be the last chance Carbon Hill has to get a win because after this, I think it's Gordo and Meek. So that's if Carbon Hill wants to have 2 wins on the season, they're gonna have to beat Midfield. If it was at home, I'd give the Bulldogs a chance, but at Midfield, I'm going with the Patriots in this one.
Midfield was so good last year. They're not as good, but yeah, I think they'll beat Carbon Hill here. All right, so we're in agreement on that one. Now, these last ones, there's some stinkers in here. I'm just going to admit it. Addison 7-1 at winless Vina.
We don't need to talk about this one. This is going to be ugly. Addison should win this one. If they didn't put it on a running clock, maybe 100-0, as it is probably your usual 64-6, 60-6, something like that.
Vina's had its moments, not this year.
Yeah, last year they weren't bad.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, I think, one of these years. Meek 4-3 at Cherokee 1-7, kind of the similar deal there.
Probably another 64-6 kind of game. Yes. Meek should dominate, especially. I know they'll be motivated after losing to Addison. You mentioned it with Cordova. They would probably want to play as soon as possible to get that bad taste out of their mouths. Oh, man, and I think that bad taste will be thoroughly washed out after they thrash Cherokee.
Yeah, Cherokee down there for them as well. And then you have Winston County's back in action. Tharptown 1-6 at Winston County 3-4.
At least Tharptown won a game, which I was not really expecting them to do it all this season.
I don't know who they beat, but that's good for Tharptown.
Well, they won't win this week at Winston County. No. Winston County has to have this for the playoffs. They've got 2 winnable games, Tharptown and Decatur Heritage.
Yes,
that they have to win if they want to make the playoffs. And I think they get the first step of that. They even their record at 4-4. I'm going with the Jackets to win big.
Yeah, I am too. They have to have it, like you said. I think they'll throttle the next 2 teams before they play Faultville in the final. So they could at least get to 500 going into the playoffs. But the last one, John Carroll 2-6 at Corner 6-1. Do you see this being close?
I think John Carroll can keep it close for a couple of quarters, but we all know that Corner is a second-half team. So I think maybe John Carroll will hang around at halftime, and then third quarter and fourth quarter just Corner domination. So I'm going Jackets.
Do you think the second-half team is from the coaches or the players?
I think it's got to be a combination.
But, yeah, I mean, it's been like that ever since Campbell has been there.
I think it's good coaching, and then that's going to lead into confidence from the players so that they know heading in out of the locker room going back for the third quarter, they know, all right, we got this. Yeah. We're good.
And the same thing happened last year at John Carroll. They had to pull it off. I think they were down at least double digits.
Yes, it was. That was really their MO last year, is get down, come back.
Yeah.
So this year they really haven't had to do that as much.
And I think they'll take care of them here. All right, so the top 5. We're going to do a top 5 now. It's a little bit harder this week. It seems like the top isn't hard. The bottom 2 are very difficult. So my number 5 is I actually put Dora on it.
Okay.
Because of the way they're playing right now.
I was about to say, the last 2 weeks, they could be number 1 on this list.
If they
They've
could go
been
back
fantastic.
and play, if they had that Fultondale game over right now.
I think they would win that easy if they had it over.
Yeah, I do as well. But the way they're playing, I mean, it took them 7 weeks, but here they are, and they're in a playoff hunt. That's all you can ask for.
Well, I was foreseeing who would get that 5 spot. I was looking at, all right, who is going to take the rest of the season and really do something with it? I think Winston County, they're my number 5 because they have the home stretch. They've got 2 very winnable games. Then they do have Falkville in non-region play. That's going to be tough, but we'll get to that when we get there. Winston County, I think they're heading in the right direction despite coming off of a close loss to a really good Lexington team and then a bye week because they've had 2 weeks to think about it. So they ought to come out inspired for this stretch run. Jackets are my number 5.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good pick. I did not have them. They're probably 6th on mine. But Meek is number 4.
Okay. Meek is my number 4 too.
So, I mean, what can you say about Meek? It was very disappointing. Addison, they scored first. It was like, boy, we've got a game here. And then it wasn't. Addison's just, good grief, they're loaded. So, yeah, this is not like any Addison team ever. We'll get to the Addison later. They're higher on this list. But Meek, like you kind of said about Winston County, heading down the home stretch, they should take care of business here. I don't see them losing again.
And Meek's my number 4. Hunter White, great running back. You've got Evan McKay at quarterback. Really good coach in Daniel Evans for Meek. So they're doing what they did last year. They're going on this home stretch. And now they've got easy, winnable games the rest of the way until they get in the playoffs. Now that'll be tough as the 3 seed in that region. That'll be tough, but they proved that they could win when they beat Hubbardsville last year in the playoffs. So maybe they can keep doing it. Meek is number 4, very solidly in that spot. Not too close to the 3 seed, but they have a big lead over the 5 seed, I would imagine, at this point in the season.
Yes,
at least.
Yes. We kind of expected them to be here around this record going down the home stretch here. Jasper has dropped to my number 3.
Okay.
I mean, just for a bad half there. Second half was just, but I mean, it is Muscle Shoals. I don't know if we have a team around here that can compete with Muscle Shoals. Maybe if you put together a county all-star team, they could compete. I mean, this team is loaded and big and just, like you said, Jasper hadn't seen anybody like that. And really, Muscle Shoals had never seen anybody like Jasper.
No,
it was the hardest game for both of them. But fought for a half, and Jasper can move back up this list with a win over Hartselle this week.
My number 3 is Corner, as they have been for the last few weeks. You know, typical Spencer Unruh dominating. He'll be a big weapon when they get in the playoffs and they try to make a run in Class 5A. I wish Corner was in 4A again this year because then they could win state. Yeah. I mean, they're really good competing in 5A, but if they were in 4A, good grief, they could be dominating everybody.
Yeah, and they're going to be 4A next year, but Unruh
will be graduated. Yeah.
Exactly.
But great season thus far for Corner, and I expect it will get even better as they fight for that region championship with Ramsey.
I have Corner as my number 2, so a little bit higher. But the same thing you said, I just don't – they're so good. And I kind of forgot about that when they played Ramsey. Totally. Then I remembered the next week when they came back and, handled business
did
and
their
defense.
Typical victory.
Yeah, so Corner's really fun to watch. If you want to watch a team, go watch Corner because they will light it up. It's always a really well-run team, well-coached team. So who do you have next?
Number 2, I've got Jasper. They are not dropping. They lose to the number 3 team in the state. I mean, come on. Well, a team in 6A that would compete in 7A, one of the best teams in the state, period, regardless of classification, the Muscle Shoals. So I'm not going to fault Jasper for losing that one, especially when they were competing, actually leading at halftime.
Yeah.
So very good. And I want to bring up again the turnaround under David Reeves at Jasper.
People forget.
I mean, they were what, 1-9?
They were 1-9 2 years ago.
And it's just been an unreal turnaround, a meteoric rise. It's something that you usually see in 1A or 2A, but in 6A to do this, goodness, you don't see that often.
You don't see it that fast. You see teams go the other way, maybe.
Yes.
But a new coach comes in and immediately changes everything. I mean, you make the right hire. Kind of talk about this in college in a minute. If you make the right hire, it can go through the roof.
It can. And UAB, where David Reeves came from, they realized that the wrong hire can send you completely hurtling down. So David Reeves, I guess he's in a better spot now. He's winning.
I think they'd be happy to have him over there.
I think UAB would be happy to have him as a head coach. But hopefully he'll stay in Jasper for a long time.
Great move by Jasper. All right, my number one's Addison. So we agree on that one. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. What can you say about them? They're just lighting it up. I've never seen an Addison team like this. They've always been a run team. They've always now, one thing that's similar, they always spread it out. You're never going to have a guy with crazy stats. There's no Spencer Unruh over there, you know. There's like 5 guys, and they all get the ball, and everybody does their job. But I guess Roberts is the leader at quarterback.
In 1A football, when you have an offense that's got those 5 guys, most defenses do not have 5 guys to put a man on everybody. So you can just run all over people.
Makes a huge difference to have that. And we kind of mentioned the coach. What about Hastings at Addison?
Hastings has done
perfect
fit. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. I mean, he's a great fit at Lynn. He turned around a Lynn program that really hadn't been doing a lot of winning in a long time.
That was a lot of fun to see, too.
And he had that program completely turned around. Now he's got an Addison team that they needed just a little turning around. They were in a good spot, and he has taken it to a next level. So, good grief. What a fantastic coach, and what a fantastic team this year.
They're over last year's point total by 30 points already.
Through 8
games, they still got 2 left. So, they're putting up huge numbers. Hopefully they make a run. All right, so we're going to really quickly break down the playoff hunt for let's go through 4A Region 5. The leaders are obviously Hamilton.
Hamilton's first. Then it's Good Hope and Fayette County. They'll play.
Yes.
So I think they played this week.
Yeah,
I think that's this week. That's for the second seed in the region. The loser of that gets third. Then there are 4 teams fighting for that 4th spot to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, 4 teams from each region make the playoffs. So the 4 seed is open for 3 of our local teams. Mm-hmm. So it's like I said before, Cordova had that path right in front of them, and they lost to Dora. But that path is still open.
It is. If Cordova wins out, they would be most likely thrown into a tiebreaker with Fultondale and Dora, unless Curry can go on a run. Curry, they are really the common denominator, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. If they go on a run, they could throw everything into chaos. They have 2 games.
Even more so.
Yeah, they have 2 games, Curry does, coming up where I would not call them the favorite against Dora and Fultondale, but they can win. But if, let's say, Curry loses both of those games, then you'd have a 3-way tie, most likely between Dora, Cordova, and Fultondale. You run it through the tiebreaker list, Cordova would make the playoffs. When it gets hectic is, let's say,
that already sounds pretty hectic.
It gets even more.
Write this down.
I mean, if Curry upsets Fultondale, then Dora would be in. And if Dora can beat Good Hope last week of the season,
they could do that.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to rule that out at this point, the way Dora's turned it around. Then that would flip the entire region on its head. Not only would it throw the top of the region into tiebreakers, it would likely lift Dora into the playoffs. So everybody, Dora, Cordova, and Fultondale have a really good shot on their own. Curry would probably need a little bit of help as well as winning out. But all 4 of those teams have a chance. And we're used to Dora in the playoffs. Cordova, it's been a while for them, but they've been in the playoffs a lot in their history. We know that. But Curry and Fultondale, this is a spot they're not used to being in. So it'll be interesting to see. Does one of those teams fold under pressure, or do they rise up under occasion? And Dora, we know that most of these players on the team have been to the playoffs before. Does that help them in this pressure-packed stretch run? What happens? We've got 2 weeks to find out, and I would guarantee you it is going to be chaotic and fun to watch every second of the way.
Yeah, I mean, 8 games in and Curry's in the playoff hunt. You can't ask for anything better than that. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Hopefully it's not Fultondale. No offense to Fultondale, but I'd rather have a county team in the playoff.
That's right. It would be kind of sad for us with those 3 Walker County teams having to sit at home, as good as they've all been. But Fultondale, credit to them, they've turned their program around a little bit.
Got the wins they needed. Yep. That win over Dora at the time was a big win. All right, so that wraps it up for high school. So we'll quickly go through some college things here. Was there any college games last week?
No.
I think everybody was off, it looks like. So I put impressive road win for Alabama. That's 5 in a row. It's just kind of business as usual at this point.
And what's really impressed me about this Alabama team is looking at these last 3 games. They've won 3 in a row against ranked opponents. They really haven't looked great, and yet they're going on the road in SEC country beating ranked teams. That's all I can ask for. I mean, I've been shocked at how they've turned it around since the season opening loss. When they got beat by Florida State, I thought, oh, this is it. This team is done. And Ty Simpson has turned into a Heisman Trophy contender at quarterback. Whoever would have dreamed that?
Never.
A week into this season.
It's the opposite of Milroe last year, where he went from Heisman front runner to nothing. Now we got Simpson from that first game to Heisman, maybe one of the front runners.
He's number 2. Number 2 on the leaderboard.
It's pretty good. I would never.
For Alabama, it's still tough. Ty Simpson said it's like being an NFL team. You know, you're playing the best teams every single week. There's really, I think there are 2 unranked teams left on the schedule for Alabama.
Wow.
And they're both road trips, South Carolina and Auburn, which will both be tough. Because any road trip in the SEC, I don't care who you're playing, even Vanderbilt these days, any road trip in the SEC is very hard to win. So, but hey, this is all I can ask for Alabama. After that loss, I was expecting them to be maybe 3-3 at this point, but they've turned it around. So credit to Kalen DeBoer. I wanted him fired after that first loss. Now I want to build a statue for him.
So I'm the opposite. So my team is 3-3. So Auburn lost in devastating fashion to Georgia. So it's 3 in a row. And the officiating, first of all, we'll just go over it quickly. It was horribly officiated.
It was not well officiated.
How this day and age we don't have like a chip in the ball. We got how much technology we have, and we're still relying on a guy looking at a replay in Birmingham. It's pathetic.
You know, I hadn't thought about putting a chip in the football for college. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, we have the technology to do it. It's like the $6 million man. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
We have the technology. Yes. So we just need to, I don't know. Now, it was a terrible call. Auburn should have scored. I heard people say it was a fumble, and I don't know what they're looking at. I guess the refs agreed.
Close. I mean, it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't egregious because it was almost. I would say it was almost obviously a touchdown. There was just. I guess there wasn't enough to overturn it. I guess they took indisputable evidence too seriously. Like, well, it is a little fuzzy. I guess we can't overturn it. But I was surprised because I thought. When he crossed the goal line, I thought it was a touchdown. I saw the replay. I thought, ooh, that's close. Nope, he's in. That's touchdown. Yeah. And when they overturned it, I was shocked. Then they pretty much gifted Georgia a field goal with all the penalties they called on that drive. I mean,
it was like the last. So what happened was Auburn's up 10-0, about to go up 17-0. They call it a fumble at the goal line. Georgia goes back down and kicks a field goal going into halftime. So it was just a completely changed things. Now, I will say the second half was a disastrous for Auburn offense.
Yes, it was not the referee's fault in the second half. Not at all.
Auburn went back to its usual, no first down, 14 yards, 3 and out, punt. Other team scores and takes the lead and wins. I mean, that's Auburn's offense. So
Auburn had 40 yards in that second half. 40.
And a lot of that was that last drive.
Yes,
which they couldn't convert on that one either.
But so it was because at halftime. We all know Georgia's a second-half team. At halftime, my thought was, okay, Auburn is going to come out here fired up. It's just, can they hold off this Georgia team? And they came out lethargic. And that shocked me because I thought Hugh Freeze would have his team fired up at the break after how that half had ended. And in his interview, he had tears in his eyes. His athletic director was screaming at the referee the whole way down. And then they came out and looked like they were sleepwalking the second half. Yeah.
It was outcoached again. I mean, badly by Kirby Smart. They just so what worked in the first half, I guess they were like, well, it'll work again. Not knowing that Kirby was in there setting this up.
He is the best coach in the country at adjusting. Maybe the best coach in the country in coaching, period.
So Auburn was trying to throw them off by just doing the same thing. They're like, maybe this will trick them this time. And it was very rough. So, the funny thing is, though, say Auburn wins that game, and the narrative completely changes.
Yes.
And they almost – but how many almost can you have?
You can't.
I think his time is up.
So
I'm sick of it.
You're an Auburn fan. You went to Auburn. You're proud of your Auburn fandom. Or if you were the athletic director, when would you fire Freeze? Would it be –
do it now.
You would say – you pretty much say right now. Wow, you wouldn't even give him another week.
Yeah, that's probably ridiculous. Right.
Well, I mean,
but
it just depends.
I can't take this offense anymore. 10 point – you just turn on any other game. And you see teams running it down the field. Tennessee had 40 on them, on Georgia. I know that was at home, but this was at home. 10 points. Now, it should have been 17.
Should have been.
Actually.
But That's still
I think they still would have lost.
It would have been.
Yeah.
If you're just looking at it, cold hard facts, take away the field goal, put that Auburn touchdown at 17-17, and you can't tell me the way that Auburn offense was playing that they could have won an overtime game against Georgia. They could not have done.
They were done scoring.
They were done. And so if you were to fire Freeze, who would you hire as his replacement?
That's tough now. Boy, I would just get rid of him.
You get rid of him. You got to have a plan.
Then worry about it after the season's over.
You have to have a plan, though, right?
Yeah, they do have to have a plan. They need to be talking to people.
But who would you be talking to if you were in Cohen's spot?
Boy. I don't know if I would go with the Tulane coach.
Summerall?
Yeah, Summerall, maybe.
Well, I heard you mention off the air Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah, he was there before. State. I don't know if he'd come back or if I would even really. I need to look closer. See, this is a very emotional. So I haven't looked deep into this. Just get him gone, and we'll go from there.
Rhett Lashley?
Rhett Lashley would be, that might be the front runner.
Bring back Gus Malzahn?
No, I would never do that. I had a conversation with the guy. I was like, well, they should never fire Malzahn. I was like, no, he needed to go.
They should not have fired him.
But everything since that day has gone wrong. Everything they've done since was a mistake. So, I don't know.
You don't want to say that he wouldn't have won a national championship because he should have won. He should have won a national championship his first year. It was just one bad defensive play at the very end of the game.
We wouldn't be going through these last 4 years. They would be a lot better. But in the end, I thought that was the right move at the time, so I don't know.
Maybe his time was past.
Yeah, it was just time to go somewhere else.
But so you're sick of Freeze. You're done with him.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I can't take this offense anymore. 10 points a game, can't do that. It's cannot keep doing this.
Looking at this Auburn schedule, if they beat the teams that they're better than and lose to the teams that they're not as good as, they're going 5-7 again. That's the third time in 4 years they've gone 5-7, and they were 6-7 that other season.
Yeah, Freeze has never made a bowl game yet. So.
Well, he had the Maryland game, Music City Bowl, but he didn't have a winning record that year.
Yeah, there you go.
6-7.
That's it. Yeah.
So he's been 6-7, 5-7, and now probably 5-7. Of course, they can pull upsets. We all know that Auburn's great at that. They've got Missouri at home coming up. They have Alabama at home coming up.
Got to go to Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's going to be tough. They've got Missouri, of course, this week. Then they've got Mercer. They should win that game, but we never know. Do you think that Freeze's his time in Auburn pretty much ended when New Mexico State came in and beat him? Do you think that was the beginning of the end?
I was going to throw that out, but now you can't, really. It's been bad ever since.
So you're done with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes this next few weeks. All right, so you got some picks this week?
I have. I've got a bunch of games, 7 games in the SEC. So we're going to try to get through this as quickly as possible.
And efficiently as possible.
And quickly. Oklahoma at South Carolina. Oklahoma 5.5-point favorite. John Mateer, the quarterback, he was showing it Saturday that his hand was still broken. Probably should not have rushed him back. So do you think he can recover in enough time to go to South Carolina and win?
Boy, this looks bad. After last week, it really looks bad now. I'll probably go Oklahoma, but I really don't have a reason. That's going to be close.
If this was the night game, I would have gone South Carolina because it's always a different atmosphere at night in Columbia. But it is an 11:45 a.m. kick, 12:45 local time for them, but 11:45 for us here in beautiful Walker County. Yes, in Central, where we should be. Yes. So I'm going Oklahoma as well, but as you say, I'm not confident, and I would not be shocked if South Carolina pulled the upset. Another game I could see being an upset, number 4 Texas A&M going to Arkansas. It's not in Arlington this year. It is at Fayetteville in Arkansas. A&M 7.5-point favorite. Looking at the schedule, there's really nobody left that I would feel confident in beating Texas A&M. They could really go 12-0 this year. But is this a stumbling block for them?
It could be I don't know who they have next, but it could be a trap game type situation.
Could be.
I mean, Arkansas is not bad.
No, they're a good team.
They're better than their record, but I will take A&M, but I bet it'll be, maybe a 10-point game, something like that.
I'll just copy and paste what you said. Probably about a 10-point Arkansas win, or A&M win, I beg your pardon, Arkansas losing. Although Bobby Petrino, he had them competing with Tennessee last week.
I'd rather have him than Pittman, actually.
Yeah, he's got some winning experience. Mississippi State at Florida. Mississippi State 4-2, Florida 2-4. However, Florida is a 9-point favorite in that one. That is a crazy big kind of line.
I just don't understand Florida. This is a Napier loss, right? This is a kind of game he loses for no reason. But I'm going Florida. Their defense is really good. So Mississippi State's not great, but at home they are. If this was at Mississippi State, that'd be tough.
I went back and forth on this one.
Really?
But I think I'm going to agree with you with Florida,
Okay.
just because Mississippi State, they're good, but they're not great. Florida's not great either, but
No, they're
they've
not.
looked good
At times.
lately. They went to number 4 Texas A&M and at least competed last week,
Very
looking
good
like
game.
a real SEC team.
Yep.
Not the team that lost to South Florida.
They
So
can
I'm
do
going.
it.
I'm going Florida as well, although I don't think they cover that 9-point spread. So I think it'll be close, but I'm going with the Gators. A ranked matchup, number 10 LSU heading to number 17 Vanderbilt. The Commodores, a field goal favorite in this one. Can LSU pull the upset as an underdog, or does Vanderbilt's magical season continue?
And the LSU upset at Vanderbilt.
Who would have thought that?
But I actually I have been so unimpressed with LSU after I picked them like a couple weeks ago. That's going to be I don't know. I can see them winning by 10 points. I can also see them losing by 10. I went Vanderbilt. I'll
You
just
went
put it that way.
Vandy.
Yes,
Wow.
I know it's crazy.
I think they were off last week, so they haven't played a game since they lost to Alabama.
Mhm.
They're going to be motivated. They've got LSU coming in, who, as you've mentioned, hasn't really looked great.
just
Their resume is propped up by a win over Clemson, who is not that good.
Correct.
So everything would point to Vanderbilt. But I think it's just too good to be true. LSU, I think, is going to win this one. And I think they'll
think that's a good
dominate.
pick.
For whatever
Yeah.
reason, I'm going with the Tigers. Wouldn't be shocked if Vanderbilt won it, but I'm picking the upset in LSU.
Oh.
A top 10 matchup now in the SEC. Probably the biggest game of the week. Number 5, Ole Miss, heading to a number 9 Georgia team that has new life after the referees helped them out last week. The Bulldogs, a 7.5-point favorite, looking for revenge against the Rebels.
Yes, and they will get it. Ole Miss is they've kind of not looked great either. No, really nobody. Only like the top 2 or 3 teams have really, really looked good, like Indiana of all things.
Indiana.
But at Georgia, I think, they probably won't need the refs in this one either.
Well,
What's really strange about that is Auburn never gets called. It's home
weird.
or away.
It's weird.
It's just going to be the worst case
And
scenario.
used to, I can
On a
look at a
tangent
bunch of
here.
Iron Bowls in back in the 2010s, the old days, when it was Malzahn versus Saban, back in those good old years. Auburn always got the calls
There was
against
something-
Alabama.
Yes, they did.
I mean, that's the only
Payback time.
It is
Right.
payback time, I guess. Referees not kind to Auburn this year.
Nope.
Very kind to Georgia. I'm picking the Bulldogs just because they typically do well in games that they should win.
Yeah, they
with the
should win
exception
this.
of the Alabama game. For whatever reason, Kirby Smart cannot beat Alabama. But that's his problem, not mine. So I'm going Georgia. I think it's a blowout. I think Georgia goes out there and exposes
that too.
Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss will get it back together the rest of the season. I'm seeing Ole Miss. Is one loss, is that enough to get you knocked out of the race for the SEC championship? Because Alabama's going to be a favorite with every conference game,
gonna
and so
be
is
tough.
Texas A&M. So it's going to be hard if
they
you
need
lose
this.
a game.
Yeah, they really need this one.
So you're right, desperate for Ole Miss to get this win. I don't think they will. I've got Georgia by 30. Number 16, Missouri at Auburn. Battle of the Tigers. Missouri only a 1.5-point favorite. Does Auburn make everything happy and right on the plains with a win, or do they get beat?
So after everything I said, I'm picking Auburn. Does that make any sense?
Is that wishful thinking? Is that wishful
sense.
thinking?
I just have a gut feeling,
Usually those are the best feelings.
So there's no reason to pick Auburn here.
But
There's
you're going to.
none.
And you'll probably get it
Yeah,
right,
well, I
honestly,
don't
because
know.
it's that gut feeling as a fan that usually points you in the right
0-3
direction.
in the SEC. That is back against the wall. I don't know. Maybe something crazy happens.
Well, I'm not an Auburn fan, so I don't get gut feelings on their behalf. Although I did I felt terrible for Auburn fans watching
thank
that
you.
Georgia game. I was thinking about
It's
you
like
personally.
the officials feeling bad about it too.
Yeah, apologizing after the fact. But I thought going into this season, this was Auburn's year. Hugh Freeze was going to turn it around, and Auburn was going to go on a run and compete for a playoff spot. But after everything that's happened, Damari Alston quitting the team. I say quitting. He wanted – that's a
Yeah, it was
crazy
a
situation.
Very weird.
Team
with your
captain
leaving during the season because he wants a red shirt.
He wanted
Apparently.
to redshirt. And I get that. He's only played 4 games. He's not at 100%. His workload is decreasing.
Yes.
He's thinking, all right, I can redshirt and I can play my whole season of eligibility next year at 100%. Of course, realistically thinking he was probably going to transfer. But Hugh Freeze, it was a bad look. Him saying, well, he just didn't meet our standards, so he's off the team. He's gone. Is he gone? Yes, he's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Auburn can recover for that. I think the season's too far gone. So I'm picking
We'll
Missouri to win. But I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's another heartbreaker. Maybe like last year when Auburn blew that big lead against Missouri.
Brady Kidd has graduated. So
he has. Yeah. But they've got Bo Pribula. He's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good. Gave Alabama fits for a while. So I'm picking Missouri to win by a touchdown. And don't be surprised, folks, if Sunday afternoon you get word that Hugh Freeze is no longer the head coach of Auburn. That's my bold prediction, that if Auburn loses, Hugh Freeze, his tenure in Auburn is no more.
That'll be interesting.
Final game, third Saturday in October, number 11 Tennessee at number 6 Alabama. Two teams that have looked very well, very good this season. Mm-hmm. Tennessee, their only loss was in overtime to Georgia, a game that they probably should have won. Alabama, their only loss was the inexplicable loss at the beginning of the season. Right. I think we've both thrown that out at this point. So definitely. At Tuscaloosa, the Tide looking for revenge. They haven't lost consecutive games to Tennessee since 04-05.
It's been a while.
Back in the Shula years. Tennessee, they're good, but their defense isn't great. Alabama, they've played very well, but they've had their weaknesses. Missouri almost took advantage of an offense that just could not get anything going, it seemed, Saturday. So what do you think happens in this big rivalry?
Tennessee's like one of these teams you really don't hear about much. Maybe it's just me.
They don't. People aren't really talking about.
Yeah, they're just kind of there, and they can actually. This can do something for them. This is their chance to get back on the national stage in a big way. I mean, is their only loss to Georgia in overtime?
Yes, in overtime to Georgia.
That's it. Had they won that game, this would be huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, it still is. But Alabama at home, even under DeBoer, they can't lose. So, yeah, probably 17-point win.
DeBoer there has only been one time in his life he has lost a game in Tuscaloosa, and it's when he was an offensive coordinator at Fresno State.
Wow, they
came to Tuscaloosa and got beat. Wasn't a bad blowout either, 4 touchdowns. But that's very much off subject. If this was at Tennessee, I don't care how good Alabama very, very is. Tough. Tennessee's a place that it's hard to win.
I would pick Tennessee if that was the case.
But it's in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee, when's the last time they won in Tuscaloosa? 05?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Well, no, Alabama won in 05. So it would have been 03 because they played in Tuscaloosa odd years. So 03 would have been the last
early part of the century. Let's put it
wow, that's been a long time. 22 years. I think Alabama gets the win in revenge. I think it's a close game. Probably.
I said 17 points.
I think it's closer than that.
Well, maybe. Yeah, they do play close games, it seems like.
I would say high scoring because I think that most of the drives will end in touchdowns. But the way Alabama eats the clock probably won't get terribly high scoring. Maybe a 38-33 kind of win for Alabama. That'd be a close game. Would get my heart all out of whack. But I'm picking the Crimson Tide to keep the season going, the undefeated season in conference play. I think that continues for at least another week. So I'm picking Alabama. Crimson Tide, they've turned it around. We'll find out if they can keep it going.
What I do like about the DeBoer era is Saban era, I was so bored. I would go, turn. I was like, okay, this game's over. Now I have to watch the game to the end. Yeah. It's very a lot more fun watching Alabama games now.
If you're a fan and you win like that, it's just so much fun. And then when you start losing like that, lose all the close games like Auburn has this season, you don't want it. You just wish you'd get either blown out or blow somebody out. Don't put me through another close game. It's all about whether you win and lose. And so far, Alabama's done pretty well in the close games under DeBoer.
So. Goes a long way. SEC is going to be close. All right. Anything else?
Nope. That is it.
Wrap up our show?
Wraps up the show this week.
Yeah, that is it for us. Go watch your local teams because there's still some good games out there. And weather's great now.
Oh, it's been a beautiful week. And it's going to keep going. It's going to get cold next week.
Then it'll be cold by the time we have some teams deep in the playoffs.
But we've got some good teams at home. We've got Jasper. Now, that's a game that if you're in the Jasper area, you might want to go check that out. That's going to be fun.
Get there early, yes.
If you're a Dora or Curry fan, your teams are playing in the area at Curry. You've got Cordova at home. You've got Winston County at home. You've got Corner at home. It's not a bad drive to Hubbardsville either if you're a Lynn fan. So some games definitely that you want to go check out.
All right, so that's the end of our show. I want to thank Bevill for sponsoring again and Jake for producing. And if you like what you see, subscribe and like on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.